I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home, I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing, wings that make the tongue.
Hi, my name is Larry White, and I am your producer and director of The Inner Beat. The Inner Beat is a socially conscious program that sometimes showcases cultural events as well as community events. And occasionally, we'll even bring a little song and dance. So sit back and enjoy The Inner Beat.
Right? So when we talk about using the law or using education as a way of keeping our children from within the confines of the law, it makes about as much sense as saying that our Jewish brothers and sisters should have confined their choices to voting in Nazi Germany or to engaging in civic participation in Nazi Germany. And we have to realize that that's a false choice, because that choice leads you to death. One leads to death quicker than the other, but they both lead you to death. And I think that when it comes to whether or not we are being honest in our ability to assess what we are dealing with as Black people in a society that has never, ever shown itself willing or capable of acting in our best interest, if we confine our options to success within this system, then we are lost. Right? So I don't want to be depressing, because there's hope, and I have hope, and I'm optimistic. I mean, I have to be. I've got children, and I brought them in the world knowing that, this is what we're dealing with. But the hope isn't that my child will avoid jail. His father couldn't avoid jail. I haven't been able to avoid jail. And most of the Black people I know who are about much of what we want to be about have not been able to avoid jail. So we don't teach our son his history so that we hope that he can avoid the chains, because he's in chains now. We teach him the history so that his highest aspiration won't be to be the president of a country that despises him, but his highest aspiration will be to create the types of freedoms that I'm not quite free enough to conceptualize. Right? Because if I can give him what I got in college and Africana studies classes, if I can give it to him at 5, the way my Jewish friends get their Holocaust lessons taught to them at 5, then by the time he's 18 years old, he'll be able to create things that I, at 18, was just unlearning. Right? If we can get them when they're her age, then we don't have to worry about him or her unlearning what BET teaches them and what MTV teaches them. We don't have to worry about them unlearning all that. By the grace of God, if they make it to a college class where they could unlearn some of those things. So the idea for me isn't to teach them their history so that they avoid jail, because that is not going to happen. The idea for me is to teach them their history so that they know that they are the descendants of those, as you said, and took my point too, of those who survived, and that they can create what it is that we need, even though we may not be able to tell them what that is in concrete terms. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. So for the sake of time, I'm going to stop it there, but I just want to remind us, with just the quote from Neely Fuller, that when we don't understand the intricacies of white supremacy, everything that we think we understand, all of the tools that we have used up until this point, all of the rationale that we've had up until this point, all of the arguments that we've made up until this point, when we don't understand the way white supremacy works, those things that we think we are masters of will only confuse us, and they will produce solutions that don't solve. And we don't have time for those types of solutions. Thank you.
Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. There is so much hatred